You know that feeling, right? You're walking down the street, you see a super high-end store, and bam, there's a massive sales sign in the window. A brand you know, a brand you trust, suddenly half price. Well, what if that same 50% off sign popped up on the stocks of some of the biggest, most iconic companies in the world? Today, we're going to dig into why that might be happening right now with two giants I'm pretty sure you've heard of.
So that's really the core question for our explainer today. What exactly happens when a truly great company goes on sale? And look, we're not talking about just any old business. We're talking about the titans, the names you see absolutely everywhere. And all of a sudden, they look like a bargain. So, what does that actually mean? And maybe more importantly, is there a hidden opportunity here for those of us who are paying close attention?
Okay, so today we're going to look at two perfect case studies, Nike and Adobe. I mean, think about it. These companies couldn't be more different, right? One sells you the sneakers on your feet, the other sells the software on your computer. But, and this is the interesting part, right now they're sharing the exact same story. Both of them are going through these huge major restructurings. And because of that, some folks are looking at this and thinking, wow, could this be a generational opportunity to invest?
So you gotta ask, how does a giant like that even stumble? I mean, before we can even get to the opportunity, we first have to really understand the problem.
All right, first things first, let's be super clear. We are not talking about your average company here. Our whole analysis is focused on what people call Class A companies. And you know the ones I'm talking about. They're the undisputed leaders in their field, total household names with brands that are just rock solid and a long history of dominating their market. They're the gold standard, the best of the best.
But here's where the story takes a turn. Because look, being the best yesterday, well, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be the best tomorrow. Even the most powerful, dominant companies can completely lose their way. They can get complacent or, just make a few bad calls.
And a stumble like this, it's never just one thing, It's not like a switch flips overnight. It's really the result of what the source material calls years of bad decisions. It's this slow burn, right? The operations get bloated and clunky. The company makes these big strategic moves that just don't work out. They start to lose focus on the very thing that made them great, and then usually it all comes to a head with a full-blown leadership crisis.
But here's the thing. A stumble doesn't have to mean a total collapse. Actually, it turns out there's a pretty consistent playbook for turning a giant ship like this around. So let's break down how these companies can actually recover.
Really, it all boils down to three critical steps. Step 1, you almost always see a change right at the top. A new CEO comes in, brings a fresh perspective. Step 2, that new leader kicks off a total strategic overhaul. I mean, completely rethinking where the company is headed. But that third step, that's the one that makes or breaks the whole thing. It's the one that really, really matters.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. Let's take Nike, for example. Their turnaround involves leaders like Elliott Hill, a guy who is apparently known for just a relentless focus on what they call operational execution. See, it's not just about dreaming up some brilliant new strategy in a boardroom. It's about having the right people on the ground who can actually flawlessly execute that plan day after day after day.
Yeah, this quote really nails it. Execution is the single most important part of a turnaround. It's about doing the right things, but also doing things right. I mean, think about it like this. Strategy is the map, right? It tells you where to go. But execution, that's the engine in the car. It's what actually gets you there. It's about managing all those little details perfectly. The logistics, the product launches, all the nitty-gritty stuff that, when you get it right, can completely reverse years of bad momentum.
Okay, so let's recap. We have a great company that stumbles. A turnaround plan gets put into motion. So, where's the opportunity in all this? Well, it all comes down to this really important concept called the safety margin.
To put it really simply, the safety margin is basically the discount you get. Think about it. When everyone is freaking out and focused on all the problems, the company's stock price can fall way, way below what the business is actually worth. Its real, intrinsic value. And that value is based on its assets, its earnings, its potential for growth. So that gap, that space between its real value and its current on-sale price, that's your safety margin. It's your cushion.
And for companies like Nike and Adobe right now, that potential discount is, it's huge. We are talking about a potential 50% off sticker price. That's the kind of number that makes you just stop and really take a closer look, doesn't it? And this chart here visualizes the whole idea perfectly. That tall bar, that represents what the company could be worth if this whole turnaround thing actually works. And the shorter bar, that's its price today, kind of weighed down by all the doom and gloom. And the gap right there in the middle, that's it.
That's the safety margin. That is the potential upside.
All right, so we've broken down the playbook for Nike and Adobe. So the big question for you is, how can you start to spot the next potential opportunity like this for yourself?
It really comes down to looking for a few key signals, kind of like a checklist. First, make sure you're dealing with a true Class A company, a real leader. Then, look for a recent change in leadership, especially a new CEO. Next, listen to what that new leader is saying. Are they talking obsessively about execution? That's a huge tell. And finally, check if the market has overreacted and created that big safety margin. When you see all those things line up, you might just be looking at the next big turnaround play.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The business world is constantly changing, right? Today's unstoppable champion can easily become tomorrow's comeback story. So, as you're looking out at the market, just ask yourself this one question. Which giant is going to be the next one to go on sale? The answer might be hiding in plain sight.